Hi everyone. Today we're doing an MSTE terminology quiz. Let's see how many you can get right. Get ready. Here's the first question. Standard sign shape for stop sign. Standard sign shape for give way sign. Standard sign shape for additional information. Standard sign shape for warning signs. Standard sign shape for directional signs, roadwork signs, signs for special purposes, and supplementary plates for warning signs. Standard sign shape for facility information signs, instruction signs, guide signs, and destinations of point of interest. Standard sign shape for pedestrian and school crossing sign. It is anything that can cause harm. It is the probability of harm actually being done. It is a violation of an accepted safe procedure which could permit the occurrence of an accident. A hazardous physical condition or circumstance which could directly permit the occurrence of an accident. It is advisable for a site plan to contain a large-scale map of the overall area and to indicate where the project is located on the site. It provides the detailed requirements for the materials, equipment, and workmanship to be incorporated into the project. This drawing has elevation as its vertical axis and horizontal distance as measured along the center line of the facility or other reference line as its horizontal axis. Device mounted on a fixed support, permanent signs, or portable support, temporary signs, whereby a specific message is conveyed by means of words or symbols placed or erected for the purpose of regulating, warning, or guiding traffic. Signs that inform road users of the traffic laws and regulations which are disregarded will constitute an offense. Signs that instruct road users to meet certain traffic rule requirements on road condition. Signs which warn road users of condition on or adjacent to the road may be unexpected or hazardous. Signs which warns or advise temporary hazardous conditions that could endanger road users or the men and equipment engaged on roadworks. Signs which provide means of displaying essential traffic information on wide multi-lane roads where some degree of lane use control is required or where side-of-road clearance is insufficient to accommodate a roadside sign. Signs which inform and advise road users of directions, distances, routes, and the location of services for road users and point of interest. Signs used to guide drivers through a change in horizontal alignment of the road. The reaction time used for road safety design is the speed limit appropriate on lower standard expressways, ideal capacity of a road is it is the process of increasing the density of a soil by mechanically forcing the soil particles closer together, thereby expelling air from the void spaces in the soil. It is an increase in soil density of a cohesive soil resulting from the expulsion of water from the soil's void spaces. The process of giving natural soils enough abrasive resistance and shear strength to accommodate traffic or design loads is called. It is placing additional weight on the soil surface has long been used to densify cohesive soils. It involves dropping a heavy weight from a crane onto the ground surface to achieve soil densification. It is the process of densifying cohesionless soils by inserting a vibratory probe into the soil. In highway construction, the process of cutting down high spots and filling in low spots of each roadway layer is called. Warning devices used to supplement other controls and devices necessary to alert motorists of construction and maintenance activities or obstructions in the roadway. Light retroreflecting devices mounted at the side of the roadway in series to indicate the roadway alignment. Devices which may be conical in shape or tubular shaped are capable of performing channelization of traffic which may be set on the surface of the roadway or rigidly attached for continued use. Roadwork devices consisting of precast concrete sections, sandbag, and others which may be used to guide traffic at the construction site. Device used in place of rigid cones with a minimum of 450 millimeters by 50 millimeters wide with alternate bands of contrasting color as seen by approaching traffic for delineation of traffic. Means any traffic control device marked on the surface of the carriageway used to regulate traffic or to warn or guide road users. Looking at the possibility of injury or harm occurring to a person if exposed to a hazard. Recognizing things which may cause injury or harm to a person. Introduction of measures which will eliminate or reduce the risk of a person being exposed to a hazard. Rule blank is the guidelines regarding personal protective equipment. An unexpected event which results in serious injury or illness of an employee and may also result in property damage. An instance of something happening, an unexpected event or occurrence that doesn't result in serious injury or illness but may result in property damage. A wave at a point where the depth is equal to 1/2 of the wavelength or greater can be expressed in terms of the parameters of the significant wave. A maximum wave height and wave period of the maximum wave height in the wave train. Waves which occur in water having a depth less than 1/2 of the wavelength and the influence of the bottom changes the form or orbital motion from circular to elliptical or near-elliptical. Waves formed by the frictional drag of wind across the water surface. The pressure against a vertical wall due to waves. The regular periodic rise and fall of the seas observable along their shores. Waves generated by storms, which occur outside the area of observation. A very long-standing wave on a large but limited body of water, generally occurring when a storm dies down after producing a wind tide. An instrument used to measure the intensity of wind. In many parts of the world, the high waters reach their greatest height and the low waters at the least height, soon after the time of full moon and new moon. These tides are called the periodic rise and fall of sea level in response to the gravitational attraction of the sun and moon as modified by the Earth's rotation. Joints placed in concrete pavements, which are usually placed transversely at regular intervals to provide adequate expansion space for the slab to expand when the pavement is subjected to an increase in temperature. Joints placed in concrete pavements, which are usually placed transversely at regular intervals across the width of the pavement to release some of the tensile stresses that are due to a decrease in temperature. Joints placed in concrete pavements, which are usually placed transversely across the pavement width to provide suitable transition between concrete placed at different times or on different days. Joints placed in concrete pavements at right angles to the center line of the pavement is called It is a type of thermoplastic lane marking designed to aid and provide motorists with visual, audio, and warning on the road. Markings which are placed on sealed shoulders or other sealed portions of the road where traffic is not desired.
The time for mixing of ingredients for a concrete cement road should be done for at least How do you test the relative consistency of concrete? Most important process to prepare concrete. When inside the building, one may notice unusual sounds and change in the building. What causes these events? The basic lane width appropriate for National Road is any temporary elevated platform used for supporting employees or materials, or both in the course of any construction works. The number of days final curing for a concrete cement pavement is done for. It is defined as the number of vehicles per unit distance occupying a section of roadway at a given instant time. The number of vehicles moving in a specified direction on a given lane or roadway that pass a given point during specified unit time. The ability of a roadway to accommodate traffic volume. It is expressed as the maximum number of vehicle in a lane or a road that can pass a given point in unit time. The maximum number of passenger cars that can pass a given point on a lane or roadway during 1 hour under the most nearly ideal roadway and traffic conditions which can possibly be attained. The maximum number of passenger cars that can pass a given point on a lane or roadway during 1 hour under prevailing roadway and traffic conditions. The maximum number of passenger cars that can pass a given point on a lane or roadway during 1 hour without traffic density being so great as to cause unreasonable delay, hazard, or restrictions to the driver's freedom to maneuver under traffic conditions. Cracks approximately at right angles to the pavement center line. These may be caused by a shrinkage or differential thermal stress of the asphalt concrete, or maybe reflective cracks. Cracks approximately parallel to the pavement center line. These are caused by poorly constructed construction joints and shrinkage of asphalt concrete surface. Wearing away of the pavement surface caused by dislodging of aggregated particles and binder. This is usually a result of insufficient asphalt binder in the mix or stripping of asphalt from particles of aggregate. Progressive disintegration of the surface between the wheel pads caused by dripping of gasoline or oil from vehicles. Elevation differences between adjacent slabs at transverse joints. It is usually the result of pumping and is a major source of Portland concrete pavement structure. Localized upward buckling and shattering of the slabs at transverse joint or cracks. They can occur when transverse joints are filled with incompressible solid materials. A series of interconnected or interlaced cracks caused by fatigue failure of the asphalt concrete surface under repeated traffic loading. It is the timing of signals in relationship to one another so that vehicles traveling at a predetermined speed can pass through the greens of successive signals. The speed at which vehicles are presumed to travel through coordinated signal system is known as the time difference between the beginning and end of through band at any point is known as The red, yellow, or green light that is displayed to driven in a given movement is called an. The time required for one complete sequence of signal indication is called. It is the difference between the actual travel time and a given segment of a transportation system and some ideal travel time for that segment. The time spent in decelerating and accelerating the vehicle in opening and closing doors. Headways such that the vehicles are just filled at the maximum load point on the route. The action of flattening poured concrete into a smooth, flat layer prior to finishing the surface. This view has elevation as its vertical axis and horizontal distance, measured perpendicular to the center line, as its horizontal axis. It refers to establishment of horizontal and vertical alignments and cross-section, based on considerations such as operating characteristics of vehicles, design standards, and drainage. It refers to the physical or environmental conditions of work or employment which substantially comply with the provisions of these standards. The primary consideration in the design of geometric cross-sections for highways, runways, and taxiways is the maximum volume that can be placed in the bucket without spillage, based on a specified angle of repose for the material. A method of protecting workers from cave-ins by excavating the sides of an excavation to form one or a series of horizontal levels or steps, usually with vertical or near-vertical surfaces between levels. Requires installing aluminum hydraulic or other types of supports to prevent soil movement in cave-ins. Any structure built into the sea but not parallel to the coastline and includes any stage, stair landing place, landing state jetty, floating barge or pontoon, any bridge or other works connected therewith. An open water of navigable depth is called. It is defined as the number of vehicles per unit distance occupying a section of roadway at a given instant in time, and is usually measured in vehicles per mile or per kilometer. A continuous structure built parallel to along the margin of the sea or alongside riverbanks, canals, or waterways, where vessels may lie alongside to receive or discharge cargo or disembark passengers or lie at rest. Messages when painted on pavement should be limited to how many words only. Waves which fall forward, since the forward velocity of the crest exceed the velocity of propagation of the wave itself. In deep water, this normally occurs when the wave velocity L is less than 7 times the wave height. This should always be shown on site plans for orientation purposes. Displaying it prominently is the standard practice. They are normally parabolas centered about the point of intersection of the vertical tangents they join. two angles whose sum is 360 degrees. It is the maximum number of vehicles which have a reasonable expectation of passing over a given section of a lane or a roadway in one direction or in both directions during 1 hour under prevailing road and traffic conditions. What percentage of the tide of the water level which is safe to ship's depth of berth? Waves under the influence of the winds that generated them are called. The maximum sustained 15 minutes. Rate of flow, expressed in passenger cars per hour per lane, which can be accommodated by a uniform freeway segment under prevailing traffic and roadway conditions in one direction. It is the maximum number of vehicles which have a reasonable expectation of passing over a given section of a lane or a roadway in one direction or in both directions during 1 hour under prevailing road and traffic conditions. What is the process of proportioning cement, water, aggregates, and additives prior to mixing concrete? When directly generated and affected by local winds, a wind wave system is called. Is nothing more than a column driven into the soil to support a structure by transferring building loads to a deeper and stronger layer of soil or rock. What is the bulk composition of concrete? An application of hot bitumen material given to the old surface to provide adhesion to the old and new road surface is referred to as. The process of providing the required water and maintaining a favorable temperature for a period of time after placing concrete is referred to as. It is described as the expected number of production. Because concrete is unable to maintain a particular shape before it sets, it must be placed in a form or mold. In building construction, this is called. It occurs after the completion of construction and the resolution of the majority of punch list and commissioning issues. A formal or legally binding agreement between two parties is referred to as. It is an informal group discussion that focuses on a particular safety issue. These can be used daily to promote department safety culture as well as to facilitate health and safety discussions on job sites is known as. If you are preparing a report on PERT CPM network in a construction job, what time scheduling should you consider in the preparation of the PERT CPM network diagram? What are the capacity requirement for all scaffoldings? The berth structure projecting out from the shoreline. A measure of material's ability to resist indentation or penetration. An increase in soil density of a cohesive soil resulting from the expulsion of water from the soil's void spaces. The process of injecting any agent into soil or rock to increase its strength or stability, protect foundations, or reduce groundwater. And that's a wrap for our MSTE terminology quiz. How many did you get? Comment your score below and let's see who got them all.